Okay, now let's move on to the next section, which is subsetting lists. Okay. And the three operators that we mentioned before, okay, single square bracket or double square bracket or the dollar operator, all three will work here as well. Okay. And the single square operator returns the element of the same class. List is returned as list, a vector is returned as a vector. Now if you use double square bracket, then what is returned is a vector. Now for extracting multiple elements, you must use the single square bracket. Okay. So dollar is used when the labels follow naming convention. So naming convention is there is no space in between and shouldn't start with a number and things like that. Okay. So let's look at these examples now. So we'll start with creating a list. So say list, okay. Say V1 is equal to 1 to 4 and V2 equal to 0.6, just a single value. So the first element, the name is V1, that's the name and that's the content. Second element, that's the name and that's the content. Okay. And now if you subset, okay, so x1 will give you, okay, whatever the type is, the same type is returned. Okay. Now, if you use double bracket, then what is returned is a vector. So double bracket operator returns a vector. Okay, and we can use the dollar sign, dollar V1. Okay, so that the dollar is the syntax is similar to double square brackets. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. I want it here. Okay, so these two are about the same. Okay, we can also use when you use the square bracket, okay, you can use the variable name as well instead of just the index number. So the first element, the name of first element is V1. So we can use V1. Okay. So now when you use single square bracket, okay, whether you use the index number or the variable name, so it gives you back the same object element, right? Now if you use double bracket, okay, so that will give you a vector. So double bracket, single bracket, and then the dollar sign. So did we do dollar sign? Yeah. Now, the index can be saved in a variable and then it can be used, right? So, in place of index number, okay, so that is, we have already seen that. So let me move that back up here. Okay, so all right, so we are here now. Index can be computed and saved in a variable, and this is a very important concept. And then we can use in the operator. Okay. So let's look at what we mean by that. Okay. So let's create a list. Say V1 equal to 1 to 4. Okay. V2 equal to 0.6 and V3 equal to hello. Okay. So now we can capture the names. Let's call it X names equal to names of X. So when we use X names in this way, we have captured the names of the elements. Now we can use this variable X names, okay, to extract elements from so you can say X names. Okay. So that will extract all three elements. Okay. Now if you did that, then the first element in X names is the only one that is subsetted. So you get only that part. Okay. Now we can subset nested elements from nested list. Right. So X is list A equal to another list. Okay, 10, 12, and 14. B equal to a vector 3.14, 2.81. Right, so we have X now. Okay, so now if we want X, so we have to use double square bracket and then say, so this will bring us the first element and then the third element within that first element. Okay, will give me 14. Now if I use only single bracket like X 1 comma 3, okay, it will give me null. So there it is. this is the answer. I don't know why this is giving me everything there. Okay, so you have to use double bracket, then only you can get the exact element that you want. Okay. Now, if you want first element in the second first element of the second element, then use double bracket 2 and 1. So it will give you that. Okay. Now extracting multiple elements from a list. Okay. So we have X, right? I want to go back to this X. So I'm going to copy that in here. Okay. And now if I say X, okay, and then do 1 comma 3, so that will give me the first element and the third element. Okay, V1 and V3. So multiple elements, extracting multiple elements from a list, you give that as a vector of the multiple elements in the single square bracket. Okay. Now, partial matching. Okay. So partial matching works with single square bracket and dollar sign. Dollar sign does partial matching. Double square bracket, the default is exact match. You can say exact equal to false, then it will give you partial matching. So partial matching is this. Okay. Suppose we have a list where the name is AAR DVARK is a sequence of numbers 1 to 5. Okay. So that's the name, AARVDVARK. Okay. And that's the content. Okay. So now if we say X $A, okay. Now this is a partial match. A will match with that. Okay. So if you run that, it will give you the A will match with AAR DVARK and then give you the result. Okay. Now indexing defaults exact match. So if you use the same instead of dollar, if you did that, okay, so it gives you null.